Okay. Bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll start this evening with the presentation from the Kirkland Artists Association called Coup de cœur 2025. Dès le 24 et le 25 mai dernier, s'est tenue à la Maison Lantier l'exposition de peinture de l'Association des artistes de Kirkland, qui célèbre d'ailleurs cette année leur 42e anniversaire. Durant cette exposition, l'association a réussi à amasser des fonds de 650 $ au profit du Zoo Écomusée. Donc, la représentante Sarah Prince-Robin est présente parmi nous ce soir. À la clôture de l'exposition, les juges ont sélectionné parmi toutes les œuvres une peinture gagnante qui sera exposée sur le mur de l'Hôtel de Ville de Kirkland pour la durée d'1 an. Et la peinture est exposée à l'arrière, à la salle de réception. On May 24th and 25th, the Kirkland Artists Association, who's celebrating their 42nd anniversary this year, hosted a painting exhibition at la Maison Lantier. During this event, the association successfully raised $650, which was donated to the Écomusée Zoo, whose representative, Sarah Prince-Robert, is present with us this evening. At the end of the exhibition, judges select one winning painting that we have here this evening among all the paintings to be displayed at the Kirkland City Hall. And will be exposed here at the wall for a duration of 1 year. I would now like to invite the members of the Kirkland Town Council all to join me, please, along with Angelina Miraci, okay, President of the Kirkland Artists Association. I would like also to invite Sarah Prince-Robin from the Eco Museum. Et la peinture gagnante pour le Coup de cœur 2025 est une œuvre réalisée au pastel intitulée That's Canada. The winning painting of the Coup de cœur 2025 is a pastel piece titled That's Canada. And it's been done by the talented artist behind this work is Madame Gisèle Simard. Je me rendrai à Gisèle de venir à côté de la peinture. Je l'inviterai aussi, avant de prendre la photo de groupe, de signer le livre d'or de la ville de Kirkland. Bon, je vous souhaite le bonsoir de nouveau. Good evening again. First of all, before we start our official meeting, I'd like to take a moment of silence for former astronaut and cabinet minister, Monsieur Marc Garneau, who left us at the age of 76. Une minute de silence, s'il vous plaît, pour le premier astronaute canadien dans l'espace et ministre du cabinet Marc Garneau, qui nous a quittés à l'âge de 60 ans. Thank you. Bon, Madame Riendo, c'est à vous.
Merci, Monsieur le maire, et bienvenue à cette séance ordinaire du conseil municipal de la ville de Kirkland en ce lundi 9 juin 2025 et les 19h10. Tout d'abord, au point 2, nous avons l'adoption de l'ordre du jour. It is proposed to adopt the agenda of the present sitting of June 9, 2025 as submitted.
Proposed. And second.
I'll second it, Dominic Zito.
Merci.
Au point 3, procès-verbaux, il y en a deux. 3.1, il est proposé d'approuver tel que déposé le procès-verbal de la séance ordinaire du 5 mai à 19h.
Un proposeur.
I'll propose that, Karen Cliff.
And second.
I'll second that, Steve Bouchard.
Merci.
À 3.2, it is proposed to approve the minutes of the special sitting held on May 26, 2025 at 9 a.m. as submitted.
Proposé.
I'll propose that, Nancy Kokinis.
And second.
I'll second it, Luciano Picacchia.
Au point 4, compte payable, il est proposé de confirmer et d'approuver le paiement d'un montant total de 3 290 939 $ et 32 sous pour l'ensemble des chèques émis et annulés, les dépôts directs et les paiements préautorisés pour la période du 1er au 31 mai 2025. Et le conseil municipal prend acte du dépôt de la liste des contrats conclus en mai 2025 comportant une dépense de plus de 25 000 $.
Un proposeur, s'il vous plaît.
I'll propose that, Mike Brown.
And second.
Your second day, John Morrison.
Thank you.
We're now under item 5, bylaws. We have a couple tonight, so I will be starting. First, we have a notice of motion tabling an adoption of a draft bylaw 9054-11. So it is proposed to give notice of motion that this draft bylaw entitled Bylaw Amending the Montreal Urban Plan number 04047 in order to ensure consistency with the Montreal Agglomeration Land Use and Development Plan and to integrate a special planning program will be submitted for adoption at a subsequent sitting of the Municipal Council and to table this draft bylaw. It is also proposed to adopt this said draft bylaw as submitted to Council, a copy of which was made available to the public on the town's website. The object of this bylaw is to ensure consistency with the Montreal Agglomeration Land Use and Development Plan and to integrate a special planning program entitled RAM Station, Town of Kirkland. A public consultation will take place on July 2nd, 2025 at 7 p.m. at Town Hall. A public notice to this effect will be posted on the town's website and in the suburban newspaper. On June 11th, the adoption of the second draft is scheduled for the regular sitting of July 7th.
Somebody for the avis de motion, the tabling?
I will give notice of motion, and I will table this draft bylaw, Paul Dufour.
Now, somebody to adopt the project?
I propose to adopt it.
Okay. And second?
I will second that motion.
Thank you.
Au point 5.2, il s'agit d'un avis de motion, dépôt et adoption d'un projet de règlement. Il est proposé de donner avis de motion à l'effet qu'à une séance ultérieure du Conseil soit présenté pour adoption le règlement numéro PIA 2022-55-5 intitulé « Règlement modifiant le règlement sur les plans d'implantation et d'intégration architecturale PIA 2022-55 afin d'effectuer la concordance au schéma d'aménagement et de développement de l'agglomération de Montréal par l'ajout de dispositions relatives à la protection des milieux humides d'intérêt, à protéger ou à restaurer, ainsi que pour ajouter des critères applicables aux nouveaux bâtiments des zones 167R résidentielles, UM 103, UM 104 et UM 105 usages mixtes, et de déposer le projet de règlement. Il est également proposé d'adopter le projet de règlement tel que soumis au Conseil, dont une copie a été mise à la disposition du public sur le site Internet de la Ville. L'objet de ce règlement est d'effectuer la concordance au schéma d'aménagement et d'ajouter des critères applicables aux nouveaux bâtiments des zones que j'ai mentionnées. Une consultation publique aura lieu le 3 juillet 2025 à 19h dans la salle du Conseil de l'Hôtel de Ville. Un avis public à cet effet sera publié sur le site Internet de la Ville le 13 juin. Et le deuxième projet de règlement sera adopté à la séance ordinaire du 7 juillet.
Une personne pour l'avis de motion et le dépôt.
J'annonce l'avis de motion et dépose le projet de règlement.
Maintenant, pour l'adoption du projet.
Et je propose l'adoption du projet Dominique Zito.
Et secondé par.
Je vais le seconder, Steve Bouchard.
Merci.
Item 5.3 is also a notice of motion tabling and adoption. It is proposed to give notice of motion that bylaw 9061-9 entitled Bylaw Amending the Permits and Certificates Bylaw number 9061 in order to ensure consistency with the Montreal Agglomeration Land Use and Development Plan by adding provisions related to the protection of wetlands of interest to be preserved or restored will be submitted for adoption at a subsequent sitting of the Municipal Council and to table this draft bylaw. It is also proposed to adopt this draft bylaw as submitted to Council, a copy of which was made available to the public on the town's website. The object of this bylaw is to ensure consistency with the Montreal Agglomeration Land Use and Development Plan. A public consultation will take place on July 3rd, 2025 at 8 p.m. at Town Hall. A public notice to this effect will be posted on the town's website on June 13th, and the adoption of the second draft is scheduled for the regular sitting of July 7th.
I need somebody for the notice of motion and the tabling.
Okay, I give the notion of motion and tabling of draft bylaw 90-61-9, Nancy Kokinesitis.
And for the adoption.
And I adopt the draft as well, Nancy Kokinesitis.
And second.
I will second it, Luciano Picciacchia.
Thank you.
Au point 5.4, il s'agit également d'un avis de motion, d'un dépôt et d'une adoption de règlement. Il est proposé de donner avis de motion à l'effet qu'à une séance ultérieure du Conseil soit présenté pour adoption le règlement numéro 90-59-13 intitulé « Règlement modifiant le règlement de lotissement 90-59 afin d'effectuer la concordance au schéma d'aménagement et de développement de l'agglomération de Montréal par l'ajout de dispositions relatives à la protection des milieux humides d'intérêt à protéger ou à restaurer et de déposer le projet de règlement. Il est également proposé d'adopter ce projet de règlement tel que soumis au Conseil et dont une copie a été mise à la disposition du public sur le site Internet de la Ville. L'objet de ce règlement est d'effectuer la concordance au schéma d'aménagement et de développement de l'agglomération de Montréal. Une consultation publique aura lieu le 3 juillet à 20h30 dans la salle du Conseil. Un avis public à cet effet sera publié sur le site Internet ce vendredi et le deuxième projet est prévu pour le 7 juillet.
Un conseiller pour l'avis de motion puis le dépôt.
I, Mike Brown, give notice of motion and tabling of bylaw number 90-59-13.
Et maintenant pour l'adoption.
I propose that, Mike Brown.
Et secondé par.
Merci. 5.5 is also a notice of motion tabling and adoption. It is proposed to give notice of motion that zoning bylaw 9058-115 entitled Bylaw Amending Zoning Bylaw 9058 in order to ensure consistency with the Montreal Agglomeration Land Use and Development Plan as well as with the special planning program for the REM station in the town of Kirkland by adding provisions related to the protection of wetlands of interest to be preserved or restored by replacing Zone 231C commercial with new zones 167R residential, UM 103, UM 104, and UM 105 mixed uses by modifying the boundaries of Zone 30P public and by creating new particular provision tables establishing sitting standards and permitted uses will be submitted for adoption at a subsequent sitting of the Municipal Council and to table this draft bylaw. It is also proposed to adopt this draft bylaw as submitted to Council, a copy of which was made available to the public on the town's website. The object of this bylaw is to ensure consistency with the Montreal Agglomeration Land Use and Development Plan and to replace Zone 231C commercial with the new zones I mentioned, to modify the boundaries also of Zone 30P, which is a public park, and to create new particular provision tables for these new zones. A public consultation will take place on July 3rd at 7:30 p.m. at Town Hall, and a public notice will be posted on the town's website this Friday. Second draft is scheduled for July 7, 2025.
Need somebody for the notice of motion and the tabling, please?
I will make the notice of motion and table a draft of the bylaw, Dominic Zito.
Thank you. And the adoption, please?
I shall also propose the adoption, Dominic Zito.
And we need a seconder.
I will second it, Paul Dufour.
Merci.
Nous sommes maintenant au point 5.6. Il s'agit de l'adoption d'un règlement général. Le règlement numéro GEN 2025-52, intitulé Règlement sur les branchements d'aqueducs et d'égouts sanitaires et pluviales, est présenté pour adoption. Considérant qu'un avis de motion a été donné, qu'un projet de ce règlement a été déposé le 5 mai et qu'il a été mis à la disposition du public sur le site Internet de la Ville, depuis l'avis de motion, les corrections suivantes ont été apportées au projet de règlement. Il y a une correction cléricale à l'article 102, où est-ce qu'il était écrit 3 heures et où est-ce qu'on a écrit 3 heures au lieu de 3 ans, et le retrait de référence aux conduites d'égouts unitaires aux articles 83, 85, 86 et 91. Il est donc proposé d'adopter ce règlement avec les changements mentionnés. Le règlement entrera en vigueur le 13 juin, date de publication d'un avis public à cet effet sur le site Internet et les panneaux d'affichage de la Ville.
Un proposeur
I'll propose that, Nancy Kokinesidis.
et secondé.
Je vais le seconder, Karen Cliff.
Merci.
Item 5.7 is also an adoption. So bylaw 9060-3 entitled Bylaw Amending Construction Bylaw 9060 regarding applicable codes and other provisions is presented for adoption. Considering that a draft of this bylaw was adopted at the regular sitting of May 5th, that no representations were made during the public consultation that was held on May 28th, and that copies were made available to the public on the town's website, it is proposed to adopt bylaw 9060-3. This bylaw will come into effect on June 13, this Friday, date of publication of a public notice to this effect on the town's website and bulletin boards.
Proposed
I'll propose that, Steve Bouchard.
and second.
I'll second it, Luciano Picecchia.
Thank you.
Au point 5.8, il s'agit d'une adoption. Considering that draft zoning bylaw 9058-112, containing provisions making it a bylaw subject to approval by way of referendum, was adopted at the April 7th regular sitting of council, that a public consultation meeting on said draft bylaw was held on April 24th, and that a second draft bylaw was adopted on the regular sitting of May 5th. Considering that following the publication of a public notice indicating the possibility of submitting a request to participate in a referendum, no request was received from interested person during the period for receiving request. Considering that this bylaw was made available to the public on the town's website, it is proposed to adopt this zoning change. It's concerning the Sotremont project at the corner of Saint Charles and Hymas, and it will come into effect on June 13th.
Proposed
Propose that, John Morrison.
and second.
I'll second that, Mike Brown.
Thank you.
Au point 5.9, il s'agit de l'adoption du deuxième projet d'un changement de zonage, considérant que le projet de règlement de zonage 9058-113, adopté à la séance ordinaire du 5 mai, contenait des dispositions propres à un règlement susceptible d'approbation référendaire, qu'il n'y a eu aucune représentation de la part des personnes intéressées à l'Assemblée publique de consultation qui a été tenue le 28 mai. Il est proposé d'adopter le deuxième projet de règlement de zonage 9058-113 intitulé « Règlement modifiant le règlement de zonage 9058 afin de créer une nouvelle zone industrielle 327M à même une partie de l'actuelle zone industrielle 315M et pour établir des dispositions particulières applicables à cette nouvelle zone, qui est où est-ce qu'il y a le Siemens actuellement, puisque ce deuxième projet de règlement contient des dispositions propres à un règlement susceptible d'approbation référendaire. Un avis public énonçant les exigences relatives à la demande d'un référendum sera affiché sur le site Internet ce vendredi 13 juin et l'adoption du règlement est prévue pour la séance du 7 juillet.
Un proposeur
Je le propose, Karen Cliff.
et secondé par.
Je suis le second, Paul Dufort.
Merci.
Item 5.10 is the adoption of a second draft of zoning change. So considering that draft zoning bylaw 9058-114 was adopted at the regular sitting of May 5th, and it contained provisions specific to a bylaw subject to approval by a referendum. Considering that there were no representations by interested person at the public consultation of May 28th, it is proposed to adopt the second draft of zoning bylaw 9058-114 entitled Bylaw Amending Zoning Bylaw 9058 in order to create a new industrial zone 328M from part of the existing commercial zone 239C and to establish particular provisions applicable to this zone 328M is where the Economax is right now. So since the second draft bylaw contains provisions specific to a bylaw subject to approval by a referendum, there will be a public notice stating the requirements regarding a referendum request that will be posted on the town's website on June 13th, and the adoption of the bylaw is scheduled for July 7th.
Proposed. I need a proposer, please. 5.10
I will propose it, Dominic Zito.
and second.
I'll second it, Luciano Pacecchia.
Thank you.
We're done with bylaws for now, or for today, sorry. We're now under item 6, contrat. The first one is 6.1. Il s'agit d'un octroi suivant l'appel d'offres public dans le cadre, en fait non, c'est un appel d'offres sur invitation, comme 2025-01, production et impression de publications municipales. Une soumission a été reçue à l'intérieur du délai imparti. Cette soumission a été ouverte publiquement le 9 mai. Il est proposé d'octroyer le contrat comme 2025-01, production et impression de publications municipales, à Impression Numérique, le plus bas soumissionnaire conforme pour un montant total de 90 765,29 $, toutes taxes applicables incluses.
That includes our Info Kirkland, our brochure for all our activity, and including also our calendars. I need somebody to propose. And second.
I'll second that, Steve Bouchard.
Thank you.
Item 6.2 is also an awarding of contract Génie 2025-540, refurbishment of the bocce court at Ecclestone Park. Following this public call for tenders, 3 bids were received within the allotted time frame. The bids were opened publicly on June 9th. It is proposed to award contract Génie 2025-540, refurbishment of the bocce court at Ecclestone Park to Groupe d'Amex Inc., the lowest confirming bidder, for a total amount of $162,396.44, all applicable taxes included.
I need somebody to propose it.
I'll propose that, Steve Bouchard.
And second.
I'll second it, Nancy Kokonasides.
Okay. Okay, renewal.
6.3, on a une reconduction ici du contrat Génie 2023-06. Ce contrat a initialement été accordé le 4 juillet à la compagnie 93 63 98 88 Québécois, qui est connue sous le nom de Sanivac, avec 4 options de renouvellement. Il est proposé de renouveler pour une deuxième option de renouvellement couvrant la période du 1er juillet 2025 au 30 juin 2026, ce contrat avec cette compagnie pour un montant total de 174 911,93 $, toutes taxes applicables incluses, montant qui inclut une hausse des prix correspondant à l'IPC.
Un proposeur.
I will propose that. Karen Cliff.
And second.
Je vais le seconder, Steve Bouchard.
Merci.
6.4 is also a renewal. Contract TP 2024-02, which is collection and transportation of recyclable materials for the cities of Beaconsfield, Dorval, Kirkland, Mont Royal, and Sainte-Anne-de-Bellevue, was initially awarded on May 6, 2024 to 93 93 86 0120 Quebec Inc., Solution Environnementale 360 for a first base year. So it is proposed to renew this contract with this company for a second base year covering the period of June 1st, 2025 to May 28, 2026 for a total amount of $298,450.32, all applicable taxes included.
Proposed.
I'll propose that, Paul DeVore.
And second.
I'll second it, Dominic Zito.
6.5, il s'agit d'un achat regroupé pour de l'achat de carburant diesel clair. Il est proposé d'autoriser la participation de la Ville de Kirkland au regroupement d'achat avec la Ville de Montréal et la TUC, qui inclut la STM et 8 sociétés de transport pour la fourniture de carburant diesel clair. La durée estimée du prochain contrat qui fera suite à l'appel d'offres est de 2 ans avec 3 options de renouvellement de 12 mois chacune. La date de début est à confirmer.
Un proposeur.
Chair proposed John Morrison.
Et secondé par.
I'll second that. Nancy Kokinesitis.
Merci.
Item 6.6 is also a group purchase for sports field lighting, which is a turnkey service for the conversion of sports field lighting between 2025 and 2028. It is proposed to authorize the participation of the town of Kirkland in the UMQ tender process for this group purchase contract aimed at converting sports field lighting to LED fixtures.
Good job. Okay, somebody to propose.
Yeah, okay, I'll propose that, Mike Brown.
And second.
I'll second it with trepidation, but yeah.
I know. Thank you. OK. 6.7, un autre achat regroupé, cette fois-ci pour un appel d'offres de la Ville de Montréal pour l'acquisition de constats d'infraction thermique. Il est proposé d'autoriser la participation de la Ville de Kirkland au regroupement d'achat avec la Ville de Montréal et d'autres villes participantes pour l'acquisition de constats d'infraction thermique, ceci, pour une période initiale de 24 mois, incluant une option de renouvellement de 12 mois.
Un proposeur.
Je le propose, Dominic Zito.
Et secondé par.
I will second that. Karen Cliff.
Merci.
The other item, 6.8, is also a group purchase. So it's for a computerized parking ticket issuance system, which is the CC I mentioned a bit earlier. I think it's linked. So it is proposed to authorize the town of Kirkland to join the intermunicipal agreement for the provision of a computerized parking violations issuance system and the supply of certain ancillary services with the City of Montreal.
Proposed.
Propose that, Paul DeVore.
And second.
I second that, John Morrison.
Au point 6.9, il s'agit d'une annulation, considérant qu'une seule soumission a été reçue par la Ville dans le cadre de l'appel d'offres public TP 2025-62, travaux d'aménagement de l'entrée de ville avec enseigne, que celle-ci dépasse l'estimé de la Ville et que la Ville désire revoir ses besoins. Considérant que les documents d'appel d'offres prévoient que la Ville ne s'engage à accepter ni la plus basse ni aucune des soumissions reçues, il est proposé d'annuler cet appel d'offres et de rejeter la seule soumission reçue dans le cadre de cet appel d'offres.
Un proposeur.
I'll propose that, Mike Brown.
Second.
I'll second that. Nancy Kokinesitis.
We're now under Administration and Finance, 7.1. It is proposed to authorize the treasurer to use the surplus allocated for municipal infrastructure to repay the debt in the amount of $4,962,000 in 2025.
We're now down to $13 million. So I need somebody to propose.
I'll propose that, Paul Dufour.
And second,
Je vais le seconder, Karen Cliff.
thank you.
So, Monsieur le maire, c'est maintenant votre tour pour le rapport du maire sur la situation financière de la municipalité.
Okay. I will read the English portion, and I'll ask Councillor Zito to read the French portion. Okay, Mayor's report on the financial situation of the city. In compliance with the City and Towns Act, I am pleased to report on the financial situation of the town of Kirkland. Financial result as of December 31st, 2024. The financial statements have been audited by the accounting firm of BCGO, who confirmed that they provide a true picture of the financial situation of the city for the fiscal year ended December 31st, 2024, and reflects accurate results of its operation, variation of net financial asset, net debt, and cash flow for the years then ended, in accordance with the Canadian accounting standards for the public sector. The 2024 financial report was tabled at the council sitting of May 5th, 2025, along with the unqualified reports of the external auditors. For the year 2024, revenues from the city financial activities amounted to $82,351,000, while expenditure and net appropriation total $81,790,000. The town therefore ended the year 2024 with a surplus of $561,000, derived mainly from revenue generated by interest and investment. Major capital works and special project. In 2024, investment project totaling $13,723,000 were completed, including work on sanitary pipes and the stormwater network, redevelopment of the St. Charles Boulevard ramp, reconstruction of Pema and Heritage Parks, traffic light control box St. Charles Boulevard, resurfacing and scarification of the service road, ditch piping on Arrow and Summerhill, construction of the bike path on Chemin Sainte-Marie, and purchase of the following item: one 10-wheel truck, one backhoe loader truck, one tractor fitted with a sidewalk scraper, 2 snow removal machine, 3 electric vehicle. The financial report, based on the 3 electric vehicle, our fleet is mostly close to 25%. 25% of our fleet is electric. That's when we started it back in 2013. The financial report for this year ended December 31st, 2024 is available on the town website at www.ville.kirkland.qc.ca. And I have signed in Kirkland this 9th date of June 2025. Councillor Zito, it's yours.
Conformément à la loi sur les cités et villes, il me fait plaisir au nom du maire de faire rapport sur la situation financière de la ville de Kirkland. Les états financiers au 31 décembre 2024 ont été audités par la firme comptable BCGO, qui a confirmé que ceux-ci donnent une image fidèle de la situation financière de la ville pour l'exercice financier terminé le 31 décembre 2024 et reflètent adéquatement les résultats de ses activités, de la variation de ses actifs financiers nets, de sa dette nette et de ses flux de trésorerie pour l'exercice terminé à cette date, conformément aux normes comptables canadiennes pour le secteur public. Le rapport financier 2024 a été déposé au conseil municipal le 5 mai 2025 et était accompagné des rapports sans réserve de l'auditeur indépendant. Au cours de l'année 2024, les revenus provenant des activités financières de la municipalité ont totalisé 82 351 000 $, tandis que les dépenses et affectations nettes ont totalisé 81 790 000 $. La Ville a ainsi clôturé l'année 2024 avec un surplus de 561 000 $ dérivé principalement de revenus provenant des intérêts sur les placements. Les travaux d'immobilisation et projets spéciaux en 2024 totalisent un investissement de 13 723 000 $ et ont été réalisés, dont les travaux sur les conduites sanitaires et le réseau pluvial, le réaménagement de la bretelle du boulevard Saint-Charles, la reconstruction des parcs Paiement et Héritage, la boîte de contrôle des feux de circulation sur le boulevard Saint-Charles, le repavage et scarification de la voie de service, la canalisation des fossés Harold et Summerhill, la construction de la piste cyclable sur le chemin Saint-Marie et l'achat des éléments suivants: un camion 10 roues, un camion chargeur rétrocaveuse, un tracteur équipé d'une gratte à trottoir, 2 équipements de déneigement, 3 véhicules électriques. Ce rapport est disponible sur le site Internet de la Ville au www.ville.kirkland.qc.ca. Et le maire a signé ce jour même. Merci.
Merci, conseiller Zito.
Alors, ce rapport est déposé devant le conseil. Nous sommes maintenant au point 7.3, contribution financière additionnelle aux organismes communautaires locaux pour l'année 2025. Il y a un ajout. Il s'agit de l'organisme Bouge Kirkland pour un montant de 425 $.
Un proposeur
Je le propose, Dominique Zito.
et secondé par.
Je le seconde, Nancy Kokonasiris.
Merci.
Au point 8, ressources humaines, 8.1, il est proposé de nommer et de confirmer Mme Anna Rita Ciccone au poste d'agente à la comptabilité et à la taxation au sein des services administratifs de la Ville de Kirkland à compter du 25 novembre 2024, le tout conformément à la convention collective présentement en vigueur pour les employés col blanc de la Ville de Kirkland.
Ça, c'est pas un ajout, it's a replacement of somebody who took retirement. So I need somebody to propose.
I'll propose that, Mike Brown.
And second?
Je secondé, John Morrison.
Merci.
Item 8.2, it is proposed to appoint Mr. Pierre-Olivier Inusset to the management position of Division Head Public Works Operations within the Public Works Department for a trial period of 12 months as of May 12, 2025, the whole in accordance with the employment policy in force for management employees of the town of Kirkland.
This, again, it's a position that became vacant, and we had to replace it. So I need somebody to propose.
I'll propose that, Karen Cliff.
And second?
I'll second that, Nancy Kokonasiris.
Thank you.
Au point 8.3, il est proposé de nommer M. Émile Crisan au poste cadre de contremaître voirie et gestion de contrat au sein du service des travaux publics pour une période d'essai de 12 mois à compter du 20 mai 2025, le tout conformément à la politique des employés cadres de la Ville de Kirkland.
Ceci encore, c'est pour combler un départ. Donc, un proposeur
Je propose Paul Dufort.
et secondé par.
And I'll second that, Mike Brown.
Merci.
Nous sommes maintenant au point 9, comité consultatif d'urbanisme. Nous avons une dérogation mineure à 9.1. Il est proposé d'accorder, en vertu du règlement 90-63 intitulé « Règlement relatif aux dérogations mineures de la Ville de Kirkland », la dérogation mineure suivante au règlement de zonage 90-58. L'adresse est le 17 050 route transcanadienne. Il s'agit de la Banque de Nouvelle-Écosse. le lot 6615009 dans la zone UM 101 afin de permettre l'installation de 3 enseignes supplémentaires sur le bâtiment d'une superficie totale de 22,6 mètres carrés au lieu d'un maximum de 2 enseignes totalisant 10 000 mètres carrés, tel que stipulé au règlement de zonage 90-58, article 8.12.2 A, I et 2 petits i. Les enseignes supplémentaires proposées sont les suivantes. Une enseigne sur la façade nord, faisant face à l'autoroute transcanadienne d'une superficie maximale de 9,8 mètres carrés. Une enseigne située sur la façade ouest, faisant face à la rue Mountain View d'une superficie maximale de 9,8 mètres carrés. Et une enseigne située sur la façade est, faisant face au boulevard Saint-Charles, d'une superficie maximale de 3 mètres carrés. Cette dérogation mineure est accordée à la condition qu'aucune enseigne permanente ne soit installée sur ou derrière une fenêtre du bâtiment.
That's the new Nova Scotia Bank, just on the T-can, where you got the Petro-Canada on one side and you've got Walmart on the other side. So, somebody to propose?
Je vais le proposer, Steve Bouchard.
And second?
Je vais le seconder, Luciano Picciacchia.
Merci.
Item 9.2, it is proposed to take note of the request for approval of the Site Planning and Architectural Integration Program and accompanying documents for the residential construction project on Lot 6, 603367 in Zone 164R, which is the new Village Lacey Green, and the extract of the minutes of the PAC meeting held on May 13, 2025, and to approve as submitted the site planning and architectural integration plans listed in item 3.2.1 of the minutes of the PAC meeting held on May 13. These plans being in conformity with bylaw SPAIP-2022-55 and having received a favorable recommendation from the PAC.
Propose?
I will propose it, Luciano Picciacchia.
And second?
I'll second that, Steve Bouchard.
Thank you.
Au point 9.3, il s'agit d'un autre PIA. Il est proposé de prendre acte de la demande d'approbation des plans d'implantation et d'intégration architecturale et des documents d'accompagnement relativement au projet de rénovation sur le lot 2461064 dans la zone 136R, situé au 47 rue d'Audelin, et de l'extrait du procès-verbal du CCU du 13 mai 2025, et d'approuver tel quel les plans d'implantation et d'intégration architecturale énumérés au point 3.3.1.1 du procès-verbal de la réunion du CCU du 13 mai 2025, ces plans étant conformes au règlement PIA 2022-55 et ayant fait l'objet d'une recommandation favorable du CCU.
Un proposeur
Je vais le proposer, Steve Bouchard.
et secondé par?
Je vais le seconder, Luciano Picciacchia.
Merci.
There's no business pertaining to public security and traffic table at the sitting, which brings us to item 12, affaires d'agglomération. C'est le temps du rapport du maire sur les décisions prises par le Conseil d'agglomération de Montréal à l'Assemblée ordinaire du 15 mai 2025.
On the 15th of May, I was at the UMQ, I believe. Yeah, the UMQ, and Councillor Karen Cliff replaced me. There was no item, if I'm not mistaken, Karen, that was voted against. But we still have lots of action that's going on at the agglo level, or I would say in the municipal world. First of all, just recently, the city of Quebec City had a understanding with the two cities that are part of the agglo there, where they're looking at the cut-paw to make it fairer. And just recently, you saw in the paper, the CMM government will just deposit the projet de loi 104. And basically, it's removed some of the power of Montreal at the CMM, where on the executive committee, instead of having 4 seats out of 8, they'll only have 3 now. Same thing for the numbers of people sitting on the actual agglomeration on the committee administrative. We're going from 26 to 24. but who's penalized in all of that? It's Montreal. It's a sign that things are happening, and Legault is doing it mainly to satisfy his regional code 450. But without any further ado, I'll basically start by reading a press release, that we just issued recently on the ASM itself that encouraged Montreal to follow Quebec City lead on and commit to dialogue. And I'll read our press release. The Association of Suburban Municipality, ASM, acknowledged the work undertaken by the City of Quebec, l'Ancienne Lorette, and Saint-Augustin de Desmolles to establish a new regulation on the calculation and payment of annual cost-sharing contribution by the related municipalities in their agglomeration. So there's opening of mind on the part of the Mayor of Quebec, and would like to see the same thing with Madame Plante. Although this regulation has not yet been adopted, the ASM views this initiative as a concrete example of the importance of reviewing agglomeration governance framework through dialogue and the search for shared solution. Without commenting on the ongoing discussion in Quebec, the ASM emphasizes that the very principle of reopening the debate on mechanism widely viewed as unfair is in itself a positive signal. It reflects a commitment to addressing structural deadlocks inherent within the current agglomeration model, especially the one in Montreal. Quebec's process is about rewriting the rules of the game. It's a responsible governance initiative that deserves recognition. We believe, the ASM, that we are a part here. We believe this approach is promising and can serve as inspiration for both Montreal and the Quebec government. In this regard, the ASM reiterates its call for the City of Montreal and the Government of Quebec to undertake, jointly with the related municipalities, a thorough review of governance and funding framework of the Montreal agglomeration. This long-awaited initiative would allow for a direct response to the structural imbalance that hinders fair and transparent management of shared public resource. Quebec's case showed that opening up dialogue and exploring tailored solution is indeed possible. We believe a similar commitment from Montreal and the provincial government would be responsible respond to the legitimate concern of more than 250 residents of the related municipality. That's the 15th emerged city. I would now ask Karen Cliff to read the French portion of this press release.
Merci, le maire. L'OMB encourage Montréal à prendre exemple sur Québec et à s'engager sur la voie du dialogue. Montréal, le 6 juin, l'Association des municipalités de banlieue, AMB-ASM, prendrait acte des travaux amorcés par les villes de Québec, de l'Ancienne Lorette et de Saint-Augustin-des-Maures, visant à établir un nouveau règlement sur l'établissement et le paiement des quotes-parts annuels des municipalités liées de l'agglomération. Bien que ce règlement n'ait pas encore été adopté, l'AMB voit dans cette initiative une démonstration concrète de l'importance de recevoir les modalités de fonctionnement des agglomérations dans un esprit de dialogue et de recherche de solutions communes. Sans se prononcer sur les discussions en cours à Québec, l'AMB tient à souligner que les principes même de rouvrir le débat sur des mécanismes perçus comme inéquitables constituent un signal positif. Il témoigne d'un engagement à trouver des voies de sortie à des impasses structurelles au sein du modèle des agglomérations. Le processus engagé à Québec est de revoir les règles du jeu. C'est un exercice de gouvernance responsable qui mérite d'être salué. Nous croyons que cette approche est porteuse et qu'elle peut être une source d'inspiration pour Montréal et le gouvernement du Québec. L'AMB réitère En ce sens, on appelle à la Ville de Montréal et au gouvernement du Québec pour qu'ils entreprennent de manière conjointe et les villes liées une démarche de révision de cadre de gouvernance et de financement de l'agglomération de Montréal. Cette démarche, souhaitée depuis longtemps, permettrait d'aborder de fond les déséquilibres structurels qui nuisent à une gestion équitable et transparente des ressources collectives. La démonstration est faite qu'il est possible d'ouvrir la discussion et de chercher des solutions adaptées aux réalités de chacun. Nous croyons qu'un engagement similaire de la part de Montréal et du gouvernement serait une réponse responsable aux préoccupations légitimes de plus de 250 000 citoyennes et citoyens des villes liées. Merci.
Merci, conseillère Cliff. Maintenant, nous avons produit, we also produce one concerning the recent deposit of Bill 104 at the National Assembly. And I'll read the French portion, and I'll ask Councillor Bouchard to read the English portion. OK, l'AMB accueille favorablement le projet de loi de Québec visant à rééquilibrer le poids de Montréal au sein de la CMM. Montréal, le 22 mai 2025. L'Association des municipalités de banlieue, AMB, ASM, accueille favorablement le dépôt du projet de loi du gouvernement du Québec visant à revoir la pondération des votes au sein de la communauté métropolitaine de Montréal, CMM, réduisant ainsi le poids de décision de la Ville de Montréal. Cette réforme, tant entendue, répond à la demande récurrente des municipalités de banlieue. On est quand même 82 villes qui font partie de la CMM, or 82 cities part of the CMM, of which 26 are sitting au conseil d'agglomération. The ASM itself, we got 2 seats. I'm sitting on it, and I have one of these seats, and also the president of our association, Mayor Butowski from DDO. Depuis plusieurs années, l'AMB mène un combat soutenu afin que les municipalités puissent participer équitablement aux décisions qui affectent la région métropolitaine. Le statu quo favorisait jusqu'à maintenant une concentration excessive de pouvoir entre les mains de la Ville de Montréal, au détriment des voix des autres municipalités. Parce que maintenant, la démographie a changé complètement. Puis on ne se fie pas sur la population, mais bien le vote. À Montréal, le vote a baissé à 46 %, tandis que hors île, c'est 50 %. Ce projet de loi marque un point décisif pour la démocratie municipale. Puis j'insiste pour la démocratie municipale. C'est ce qu'on a besoin et ce qu'on n'a pas présentement à l'agglomération, dans la grande région de Montréal. C'est aussi une reconnaissance du fait que tous les citoyens ont droit à une représentation juste dans les décisions qui influencent leur qualité de vie. L'AMB souligne par ailleurs que la problématique de gouvernance existe également au niveau de l'agglomération. On fait le parallèle, we do the parallel on both of them. So, où les 15 villes qui représentent 250,000 citizens et citoyennes non montréalaises n'ont également aucun véritable droit décisionnel, ni aucune véritable capacité d'influencer les orientations et surtout les dépenses d'agglomération. That's why this year we're sending close to $40 million? $40 million for a service that we don't see. Just recently, they decided to cut the fluoridation for our kids, without no consultation, pretexting that you got it, we don't have it, so we're removing it. And the studies is based on absolutely one thing, a study from the Netherlands, believe it or not, where they're saying 1.2% of the young kids could be affected by cancer. Come on, but we're dealing with that kind of thinking. L'ABM tient à souligner que cette décision de Québec n'opposera pas les villes entre elles, mais contribuera à bâtir un modèle de gouvernance qui reflète la diversité et la complexité du territoire métropolitain. Cette réforme est surtout une victoire citoyenne, c'est une victoire pour nous, Depuis longtemps, les citoyens des municipalités expriment le souhait d'être consultés et représentés de manière équitable. En ce sens, l'ajustement annoncé par Québec est un pas à l'avant majeur qui répond aux besoins fondamentaux de la démocratie locale. Et finalement, nous avons toujours défendu cette position au nom de nos citoyens, non pas pour faire contrepoids à Montréal, mais pour bâtir une métropole qui reflète l'ensemble de ses composantes. C'est une question de respect et d'équité. Et puis, these press releases are available on our website, and I would like to ask Councillor Bouchard to do it in English, please.
The ASM welcomes Quebec's bill to rebalance Montreal's weight within the CMM. Montreal, May 22nd, 2025. The Association of Suburban Municipalities welcomes the Quebec government's bill to review the weighting of votes within the Communauté Métropolitaine de Montréal, the CMM, thereby reducing the decision-making weight of the City of Montreal. This long-awaited reform responds to a recurring demand from suburban municipalities for more equitable and democratic metropolitan governance. For several years now, the ASM has been leading a sustained battle to ensure that municipalities can participate equitably in decisions affecting the metropolitan region. Until now, the status quo favored an excessive concentration of power in the hands of the City of Montreal, to the detriment of other municipality voices. This bill is a milestone for municipal democracy in Greater Montreal. It is also a recognition that all citizens are entitled to fair representation in the decisions that affect their quality of life. Furthermore, the ASM points out that the governance problem also exists at the level of the Montreal agglomeration, where the 15 towns representing 250,000 non-Montreal citizens similarly have no real decision-making rights nor any real capacity to influence the agglomeration's orientations and, more importantly, its spending, which is entirely under the sole control of the City of Montreal. We hope that the Quebec government will show the same sensitivity and concern for fairness on this matter towards the population of our metropolitan cities. The ASM wishes to emphasize that Quebec's decision will not pit cities against each other, but will help build a governance model that reflects the diversity and complexity of the metropolitan territory. By rebalancing the voice of suburban municipalities, the law will ensure greater tax fairness and better consideration of needs related to transportation, urban development, and the environment. As for the ASM, this reform is above all a citizen's victory. Municipal citizens have long expressed the wish to be consulted and represented fairly. In this respect, the adjustment announced by Quebec is a major step forward that responds to a fundamental need for local democracy. We have always defended this position on behalf of our citizens, not to counterbalance Montreal, but to build a metropolis that reflects all its components. It's a matter of respect and fairness. The ASM sees the decision as a step in the right direction and reaffirms its willingness to collaborate fully with the City of Montreal, the Government of Quebec, and other members of the CMM in tackling major metropolitan challenges. More balanced governance will foster healthier, more transparent, and more efficient collaboration for the benefit of the whole of the CMM. The ASM hopes that the bill will be adopted and implemented quickly.
Thank you, Councillor Bouchard. By the way, also, we're preparing, or the ASM, your organization representing the 15th city, will be, first of all, there'll be some hearing in Quebec City around September concerning Bill 104, and we're trying to find not a possibility or to defend our case in Quebec, where we'll be presenting a mémoire in September concerning what's happening in Quebec City, what we just read, and what's happening also with the CMM, the readjustment of their voting power. So we'll keep you in tune what's going on in September. Okay, thank you very much for listening.
Merci, Monsieur le maire.
Okay.
Je vais vous passer à nouveau la parole pour le point 13, affaires gouvernementales, government business.
Okay, considering that the Town Council and the residents of Kirkland wish to extend their warmest congratulations on the election of the 40th Speaker of the House of Commons, the Honorable Francis Carpalagia. Considering that your appointment to this esteemed role is a testament to the deep respect and trust earned from colleagues across party line and a proud moment for the riding of Lac Saint Louis, which you have represented with unwavering dedication and integrity for over 2 decades. Considering that your leadership as chair of the Standing Committee on Environment and Sustainable Development and your advocacy for freshwater protection have left a lasting impact on both our community and Canada. Considering that, we are confident that your thoughtful, fair-minded approach will enrich the House of Commons by fostering respectful dialogue and upholding the tradition of our Parliament democracy. It is proposed to congratulate the 40th Speaker of the House of Commons, the Honorable Francis Carpalasia, on his well-deserved honor. I need a proposer and a seconder, but I believe we'll start there. And
I
second,
propose that, John Morrison.
and second,
I will enthusiastically second it, Dominic Zito.
and we could all say unanimously? Yeah, on it. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Nous sommes maintenant en résolution d'appui. We're now at the support resolutions, 14.1. Considering that the West Island Cancer Wellness Center for People Living with Cancer has received approval from Health Canada to promote and proclaim each June 26 as National Cancer Wellness Awareness Day in order to educate Canadians on the importance of psychological cancer care. Considering that it is estimated that 1 in 2 Canadians will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime, and that most of them are unaware that programs exist to help them live well with cancer, it is proposed to declare June 26, 2025 as National Cancer Wellness Awareness Day in the town of Kirkland, and to encourage all Kirklanders to support people living with cancer and the West Island Cancer Wellness Center located in Kirkland.
Propose,
I propose that, John Morrison.
and second?
I will second that, Paul Dufour.
Thank you.
14.2, et considérant que la maltraitance des personnes âgées peut entraîner de graves traumatismes physiques et avoir des conséquences psychologiques à long terme et accroître les connaissances permet de mieux comprendre et de contrer la maltraitance envers les personnes aînées. Considérant le plan d'action gouvernemental pour contrer la maltraitance envers les personnes aînées 2022-2027, reconnaître et agir ensemble, appuyant les initiatives de sensibilisation à cette cause, il est proposé de décréter le 15 juin 2025 comme étant la Journée mondiale de lutte contre la maltraitance des personnes aînées et de promouvoir cette journée spéciale en invitant les citoyens de Kirkland à faire preuve d'ouverture et de respect envers les aînés, en plus de s'informer sur le sujet de la maltraitance afin d'assurer un meilleur traitement des personnes âgées.
Un proposeur, s'il vous plaît.
I'll propose that Karen Cliff.
Et secondé,
Je le seconde, Nancy Kokinosidis.
14.3, considering that June is recognized across Canada as Amyotrophic Lateral Sclerosis, the ALS, Awareness Month, raising awareness of this progressive and incurable neurodegenerative disease. Considering that ALS gradually robs individuals of their ability to move, speak, breathe, while leaving them fully aware, deeply affecting both patients and their loved ones. Considering that ALS Quebec provides essential support, education, and advocacy, while also advancing promising research in Quebec and across Canada. Considering that the town of Kirkland values this cause and stands in solidarity with all families affected by ALS in our community, it is proposed to declare the month of June as ALS Awareness Month and to encourage residents to generously support the mission of ALS Quebec.
I would gladly propose this, Steve Bouchard.
and second?
And I will second that, Mike Brown.
Thank you.
The Municipal Council takes note of the tabling of the correspondence of the month of May 2025 by the Town Clerk. Il n'y a aucune affaire nouvelle à traiter à la présente séance. Ce qui nous amène à la séance, pas la séance, mais la période de questions du public qui est maintenant ouverte, où tout membre du public qui désire s'adresser au conseil est prié de faire la file derrière le micro. Lorsque le droit de parole vous est accordé, veuillez énoncer vos noms et adresses et formuler votre question de manière claire et concise en vous adressant au maire dans un langage respectueux. Chaque intervention est limitée à 2 questions portant sur les affaires de la ville. Il vous sera possible de poser des questions supplémentaires lorsque tous les membres du public qui désirent s'adresser au conseil auront eu l'occasion de le faire. Public question period is now open. Members of the audience who wish to address the council are requested to line up behind a microphone. When given the floor, please state your name and address and direct your question to the mayor in a clear and concise manner, using respectful language. Each intervention is limited to 2 questions related to the town's affairs. You will be able to ask additional questions once all members of the audience who wish to address the council have had a chance to do so.
Are we all set? Good evening. It's been a long...
Non, faut que tu cites ton nom et ton adresse.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. Luc Pigeon, 16876 Hymus. It's
Merci.
been a long first part of the council meeting tonight, but very interesting and very good information. So, hey, responsible governance. I'm so happy to hear that word because I'm talking about responsible governance, and my question will be on responsible governance.
Petit entrée.
Okay, so I think we should be prepared for the next climate upheaval of intense rain, because it's going to happen. It could happen anytime. The stormwater infrastructure in low-lying areas, like where I live, the Hymas Eaton Street area, should be upgraded as soon as possible to allow the stormwater to drain safely away from our homes and basements. The public should be informed and involved in the planning and implementation of the stormwater management projects that I'm sure are probably already going on. Okay, so my first question.
Okay.
Have you started to upgrade Kirkland's stormwater infrastructure, or are you still in the planning stage?
Like I told you the last time, Mr. Pigeon, we know, and you know, that there's a court case, and where I cannot even discuss of the infrastructure or the water infrastructure presently. Wonder you've got a court case, and I told you, cannot answer on that question.
Okay, not much of an answer, but my second question. Will citizens be informed and involved in the planning and implementation of stormwater infrastructure projects to prevent another intense rain disaster from damaging our health, our homes, and our belongings? Because Kirkland citizens like me are anxious and worried that we may not be prepared for the next intense rainstorm and have to live through another 9th of August hellish nightmare.
There was 192 or 94 municipalities that were indirectly not prepared. You know that, Lucien, and I cannot go further in the structure or the infrastructure or any comment on it since we got a court case going on. That's...
You're lucky. You're getting away with it. Okay, I'll come back for more, another couple of questions probably.
Okay,
Thank
perfect. You got two.
Thank
Okay.
you for being, the way you are tonight, being easy to talk to and
Okay,
answering the question. I'll be back.
thank you.
My name is Brian Dempsey. I was at 84 Marcel Meloche in Kirkland. I've been a resident of Kirkland for 46 years. I paid my taxes. There's something that happened a few years ago, and you were all informed of cars coming in front of the Emile Nelligan School,
Yep.
the Oliver Park, Charlevoix, Rougemont, and then Marcel Meloche. And apparently a study was done a few years ago.
Okay.
And
I stayed in front of the microphone, sir.
a few years ago it was done,
Okay.
but you did nothing on it. Now it's worse, because I'm on the second house in the corner, and I see these guys coming in. They don't live on the street, they just use it as a pass. Number one, you have a little sign there that says 40 kilometers. Second thing, now there's been a lot of families moving on Marcel Meloche. They all have young kids and bicycle and these So I'm just telling you, something's going to happen if you don't do something, either whatever you call that.
Speed on.
Do something. There's no stop sign or anything, so you can go on.
Okay.
Okay, that's number one. Number two, maybe you should take a look on Marcel Meloche Street, because you'll find a lot of the homes, the properties, they look like crap. They got, and that doesn't help the values of the property. There's 20 homes on that little street alone. And I'm sure if you look at Kirkland in general, there's going to be more. So,
Are you talking about grass or?
everything. I mean, they got thing. Yeah, just go and inspect it yourself.
Just not yesterday, the day before, I was in front of my property. That was last Friday. And our public security stopped in front of my house, but to go on the other side, my neighbor on Hood Street, where her grass was that high.
Food, yeah.
Okay, they're doing their job. When we see it, we'll basically advise them.
No, but you should, for your own self, to have the value of the home. As you go and knock on the door, fix your property, or else we'll fine you. And
Yeah,
that's it.
but that's what our public security, for the grass itself, you know.
That's all I had to say. But the big thing is those
Ma-
cars.
Marcel Meloche. OK, merci. Next. Bonsoir.
Robert Pagé, 41 Théoret. Petit problème sur Jean-Yves et puis la voie de service, où il y a le REM.
Oui.
Il y a un stop, mais beaucoup de camions passent à travers, souvent. S'il va y avoir un accident bientôt, je sais qu'il va y avoir des lumières qui vont être prévues ou quoi que
Oui,
ce soit.
oui. Ça,
Mais le plus vite, le mieux, parce que ça va arriver.
oui. Ah non, je le sais. Écoute, tu vois le trafic aussi, tu sais.
C'est excessivement dangereux, ça,
Ouais.
Jean-Yves, maintenant.
Oui. Mais tu parles de celui qui est sur la voie de service. Le stop, c'est celui-là.
Oui.
Ouais. Oui.
Les camions, ils ne voient pas parce qu'il y a comment on dit ça, là, des roulottes et ainsi de suite. Puis là, ils arrivent, puis il y a un stop.
Oui.
Passe tout droit.
Donc ça, je te comprends. La configuration est toujours à faire. Un instant, Joe, as-tu une idée?
J'ai noté. Je vais noter, je vais m'informer pour savoir quand est-ce que...
Non, mais il faudrait définitivement que ça soit fait, parce que là, ça traîne.
Oui. Ben, ça traîne, ça va avec le projet du REM. Là.
Oui,
Tu sais, veut dire, ça avance progressivement.
Il y a un risque.
Oui, mais tu parles de la route même.
Je parle qu'il n'y a pas assez de signalisation pour dire qu'il y a un arrêt, puis il y a des gens qui sortent de Jean-Yves pour se diriger vers la voie de service.
On va le regarder, ça, Joe.
Je suis dans le coin, je suis au courant de la situation, puis je vais l'adresser.
Merci.
Merci. Prochaine question. Hein? Moi, j'ai Robert Pagé.
Good evening, Paul LaBarbera, 28 Medoc. Thanks for your input tonight. Just wondering in general where, I'm going to say the city, the province is at with the rules on the pool fences.
Okay.
I've been to a couple of suppliers, and yes, we can do it, yes, we can do it. And one of them said, the locks are not CSA approved, government approved.
What did the city say?
I'm sorry?
You went downstairs or you went to our info?
I went to a few suppliers.
Yeah, but to our public information session, we had some session concerning the pools. We had one here, we had some at the library where we explained, or if you want to have any more information, downstairs our technical department could help you.
They've been to the house. I had
They
some
went to
people,
your
yeah.
house? Okay.
A young lady came by and she told us the rules and left
Okay.
us some information, obviously.
Yeah.
But the actual supplier says you want automatic locks.
Yeah.
Because if you lock this, you have to lock your property, whatever.
Yeah.
Or you do your windows, you have to put the 4-inch
Limitators, yeah.
limitators. Thank you.
Yeah.
And everybody says the locks aren't approved. Somebody's selling you a lock. I don't know if you know anything about that. The little locks.
Just a moment. I don't think so. We can find out, Paul, you know. But you're talking the lock on the actual door.
That's correct. The door, the gates, I guess.
The gates, yeah.
Or the windows. The limitators on the windows are simply Rona parts that you have to punch holes in your $1,000 window, if you want to call it that. And it's not something aesthetically pleasing, if you will. That's just simply my opinion. But I'm just wondering if you know any more of the details.
And we'll find out for the lock itself. Joe, you want to?
When you say it's not pleasing, there are other options available to you, right? There are other options available than the limitators and/or the
Yes, there
automated
is.
locks.
If you lock your patio in, you have to do the limitators on the windows.
Okay.
In other words, if you separate yourself from the pool, if you put it around the pool, then you need automatic locks
Yeah.
around the pool, one gate or two gates, whatever it is. Plus, you need the gate to your property to be automatically locked.
Mm-hmm.
And with the type of weather that we have here, posts moving and fences bending and lifting,
So what you're looking for, it's an approved lock.
I'm
That's
just
what-
wondering if
for-
your management has heard anything regarding these obstacles, or how do we get around them?
We've heard the same information you've gotten, that there are other options that have been developed. My recommendation to you is that you meet with our team,
Yeah.
right, and propose or show them exactly what you're thinking, and they'll give you the possibilities of what you can carry out. I can't say to you, choose this lock over
No,
that
no, I
lock.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not an expertise we have, but there are different options available to protect your house from your pool.
Sure. There are,
Ultimately, your decision. of
Yeah.
what-
yeah, of course. The limit date is moved to the fall, I think.
The limit date is
It used to be
September. it's
June,
It's September 2025.
25.
September of this year.
September 25. Okay, good. All right, thank you very much.
We have a great team downstairs. I really
Yeah,
suggest
they're
that
very
you
good.
meet with them.
I'll stay in touch.
Stop by.
with them. I'm sorry? Well, first time was last year, but in the spring of this year, I had a young lady come by, I had an appointment.
Okay,
and
so
she
you
explained
made an ex-
pretty well.
No. Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Next. Lucien, it's all you.
I don't just wonder when we'll ever know what went wrong with our stormwater and wastewater and infrastructure last August that resulted in all the damages to our homes, our basements, especially in the low-lying areas like me. Will I ever know?
All 192 municipalities in Canada.
Well, you're talking about responsible governance there, Michael.
Exactly, but
I
we're in
think
court.
not being prepared
What-
for what happened last year was not responsible governance, because
Monsieur
we all
Pigeon.
knew it was going to happen. We
Monsieur
all knew it was
Pigeon.
going to happen, yeah.
Même si je voudrais vous donner une réponse, je ne peux pas. Lorsqu'on a un cas de cours, je ne peux pas commenter ou donner des informations qui pourraient être prises par toi ou par autre, puis apporter ça en cours, puis me mettre en cause. Je ne peux pas.
Okay, then I have another question for you.
Okay, related
Shouldn't
to...
you be you're working on what would help to prevent what happened last year so it doesn't happen again? Even if you are in a court case, it doesn't stop you from, planning to make sure it doesn't happen as badly as it did last year. Shouldn't you be
Lucien,
concerned about
I
it?
believe firmly if you do anything to increase all your piping, what we had or what we receive as rain was unusual. What can I tell you more? You would have to redo an infrastructure like none others. So for now, there's no comment on
So
what we could
you
do
don't think
more.
that there is improvements that can be made so that it
For
won't
now,
be as-
I'm not able to even say anything
Well,
on
you have people now, apparently you've hired in urban planning that are experts, and they probably can
like the
tell you.
experts in 192 basically municipalities that are basically caught in the same situation as ours.
So we're doomed. We're going to be negative instead of looking towards positive improvements we can make. Okay, let's forget about that now.
Okay,
Item 5.6,
Okay.
interesting to me. Anything to
just
do?
a moment, we'll get to it first.
Okay, I'm going to pull another. The guy.
Ok, mais tu as deux questions.
So,
Okay, 5.6.
yeah, it's a bylaw, and it's respecting the piping of drinking water, sewage, and stormwater.
Non, non, c'est juste d'apporter les normes de la municipalité aux normes provinciales, canadiennes, ainsi de suite. Parce que le code de la construction, le code de la plomberie sont toujours en éternel changement. Donc, on doit ajuster notre réglementation en conséquence. C'est pour ça.
So just a bylaw. It does, like, another question, if I may? Can I still ask another question?
Wait, the last one, then we'll have...
So, definitely, I listened very attentively to your budget. Very interesting. Apparently, the last budget, there was no increase in spending to do something about what happened to us last August to kind of make it so we're more prepared and that we're more able to go through, not to have the same situation. Even if we get intense rain, it's going to happen. It's going to happen more and more often. It's an upheaval in climate.
Yeah.
So no expense at all to prevent what could happen again.
C'est noté et le même commentaire que j'ai
And
dit tantôt.
this budget for the budget doesn't come out. You don't have a budget yet for this year, right? You were just talking about last year. The last budget.
We got the budget for 2025, but not 2026.
Well, would you please think about maybe investing in making sure my basement doesn't become a stormwater retention basin again?
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Frank Ciccarello, 39th there. Just on his point, I've noticed that a lot of people have taken the initiative to install 2 sump pumps, a Generac, at their homes to mitigate the unforeseeable future of a water damage. So I'd rather take care of my house, myself, and when it's time for you guys, if you find something that will help some of the people out there, because like you said, it's unbelievable, the storm, and I'm in insurance, and we cover the lot. So some people got $238,000, some of my customers, the majority over $100,000 of damages covered just by increasing their policy for $50 a year.
Yeah.
$50 a year.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
What's your phone number?
Any more questions? Before we close our meeting, I'd like to say a few words. It's that just to thank, yeah, but it's important words. I'd just like to thank Annie tonight. She's basically having her last meeting with us. I wish her good luck in her new, I would say, new job? A new role. Okay, new role. And thank you for what you did for us. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Annie. And also, I just want to announce some upcoming event before we close our meeting. Saturday, June 14, it's Kirkland Day. For the grandfathers that are there, bring your grandkids, or for the fathers, bring your kids. Hey? Oh, and mothers, I'm sorry. And starting Friday, June 27 to 29, it's our Kirkland Mini Olympics. And our next municipal council will be Monday, July the 7th at 7 p.m. Prochain conseil municipal, lundi le 7 juillet à 19h. Merci d'être venu. I need a proposer and a seconder to close the meeting.
I'll propose the closing of the meeting, Dominic Zito.
And second?
And I will second it, Paul DeFore.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Merci d'être venu à tous.